Now, when you filter, which is the second one, when you filter, what you're doing is that you're creating a protection around that seed. That seed space, you're creating a protection around it to say, I'm going to make sure that the right things only get to you. Because what happens with a lot of us is that we have seeds, incredible seeds, things that we want to do that are just beyond us, things that we think about sometimes and we're like, this is a big dream, even it puts a bit of fear in our hearts. But we are not protecting that seed properly. We are not nurturing it properly. And the question I want to ask you is on a rate of maybe 1 to 6, right? I always use 1 to 6 because there's no middle ground there. On a rate of 1 to 6 or 0 to 5, right? How would you rate your filter space for the dream that you have at this point when it comes to protecting it? Now, when you think about filter, I want you to think about like a garden space that is protected. And what you're doing is that your caution is on what is going out as well as what is coming in, with a major focus on what is coming in, right? Because what is going out, you're probably in more control of that. But what is coming into that space, are you in control? Are you determining what is getting to your seed? Because if you have a seed in a soil, a seed of a dream for more or better in something, right? You want to make sure that it is protected and nurtured and it is preserved in a good way. And like I said, in being able to say you are preparing for it, when that seed comes, when the fullness of that seed arrives, would you be able to say that it is well protected, or something is going to happen and before you know it, the thing is no longer there? Because what happens to us a lot of times when we experience change is that the change is not long lasting. It's not sustainable. And for me, it's one word I use a lot whenever I talk with, my loved ones and my friends. And I'm like, for me, that thing has to be sustainable. I always ask myself, is this thing going to be sustainable? So if you're looking at a change, if you're looking at this more, if you're trying to prepare, what can help to enjoy sustainability is the filter you have around yourself. And you may be saying, okay, Falafayo, now I get it. I will focus on decluttering. Now you've talked about space, physical space, mind space, time space. Now you've included finance today. But on filter, what am I supposed to be looking out for? When you're thinking about filtering, you're going to be thinking a lot about what comes in through your vision and through your ears, the things that you see and the things that you hear. Now, you may be wondering that, okay, now, when I was talking about this, with my son earlier today, and I was like, if you're going to filter, what will you be looking at? It was like, well, the things that you eat as well. I was like, why did you even think about that? So basically, the things that you consume are the things you want to start filtering. You need to start filtering, because when I was thinking about the consumption one, the food one, what was coming to me is how we feel over time when we are eating things that are not healthy. You realize that if you're someone who is taking the wrong meals, maybe something you're allergic to or something that is not very nutritious to your body, after a while, you start feeling nauseous. You probably want to throw up, you probably want to use the bathroom a lot, or you need to drink a lot of water, or you are weak or something like that. So you're watching the things that you take, you'll be surprised. You need to filter that as well, because like I always say, the dreams that you have require a healthy body for its manifestation. So you cannot do much from a hospital bed. Now, I know that there are some people that they have sicknesses that they couldn't explain, and they're in that space, and they're limited, and then they still try to make the best of it. But you don't want to end up there, right? We don't want to plan to be there. We want to make sure that we don't end up in the hospital bed. So you're watching what you consume with your eyes, you're watching what you consume with your ears, you're watching what you even consume with your mouth. And this is the question I want us to ask ourselves with the things that we permit into that space for us to say, this thing that I'm watching, this thing that I'm listening to, because some of these things could also be like music that we listen to. It could be like the words that people say to us, the people that we listen to. In fact, some of us need to be careful the kind of people we listen to, because that also affects us, right? So you're saying that, how does this make me feel? It's one of the questions you want to ask yourself. You want to ask yourself, how does this thing that I'm seeing, how does it make me see me? How does it make me see me? And how does it also make me see my situation? Let me give you an example. If you're someone who decided at the beginning of the year, that in the second half of the year, you would actually launch out on a business opportunity, right? And all that you're seeing in the news, or all the people you're surrounding yourself with, are people that are saying, I heard of that business. In 3 years, they shut down. Oh, I heard of that business. In a year, they started having issues. The staff, they started stealing from her. what kind of thing would come to your mind? You're going to start having self-doubt. You're going to start losing confidence. You're going to wonder if it wouldn't have been better for you to just have stayed back in paid employment if you resigned. That are you really going to make it in this terrain? Because what you are consuming at that time is something negative, because negative ultimately would take from you. When you don't filter away the things that would bring a negative effect to you, ultimately it would take from you. Again, I said you want to ask yourself these questions. How does this make me feel? Because you're watching something on TV, you're listening to something in music, you're listening to someone who is saying something to somebody else. You're in a space and somebody is saying something all the time and you're permitting that into your space. How does it make you feel, right? How does it make you see yourself, right? And also, how does it make you see your situation? I know that many times when I look at the work I do, shaping perception, it's my focus. I need to see you I need you to see yourself as someone who can do that thing that is great and outstanding. I need you to see yourself as someone who can thrive in that situation. But if you're not getting messages like that, you need to make sure, and you need to be intentional to filter. So filter what is coming in, what you watch, what you listen to, right? And you need to be careful that that thing is something that leaves you empowered. That thing is something that leaves you in a great space to be able to make the right decision.